Hey, what's up, you guys? Come on in. Come on in, honeys. Get y'all just propped up there. So tonight, um, hey girl, hey, I followed you so you could message me. Was it on my other account or this account? I can't remember. Let me see. Oh, there you go. I'll follow you on this one too because I saw that you were asking me something on my other account. So I requested to follow you. Hey guys, come on in. We are going to do our second chapter in Recovery Freedom from Our Addictions by Russell Brand. I have IG. It's all linked in my bio. We did step one, which was Tuesday, and now we're going to do step two today. This is going to be recorded, so if you miss it tonight, that's okay. It'll be up on my YouTube channel for those of you guys that miss it, okay? Um, Now I do have like regular step studies. Sorry, I'm sweating, y'all. Regular step studies on my YouTube channel that are like AA step studies, but this one is the 12 steps, but it is in Russell Brand. It's really cool. I think you guys will really enjoy it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to read the chapter, right? And I'll stop periodically to like ask you guys questions and for you guys to share. If you have any questions or anything like that, just ask me and we'll get started, okay? So it says, Chapter 2, Could You Not Be Fucked? Okay? So, step 2, we came to believe that a power greater than ourselves could restore us to sanity. This step is about hope. We've just admitted we have a problem and that our lives had become unmanageable. It's normal to expect that this kind of admission will come as a blow to the ego. It is our ego who, up until now, has been running the show. With a bit of help from whatever behavior or substance we've just been forced to accept as a problem. After I admitted I had a problem, I felt weak and pathetic. I felt cracked. Even thinking about not using drugs made me feel hopeless. I can totally relate to that. This is because drugs gave me comfort and the power I needed to survive. I stopped taking them. Even admitting that my drug taking was a problem heightened my despair. So we need hope. Hope that we can change. There is another way. I can tell you plainly that there is. I can tell you this from lived experience and from what I have observed in others. You might think you are not as bad as an addict as I was. I've seen people use this program to overcome addictions that were less outwardly severe, addictions to marijuana, sex, food, or binge drinking. You might think that your addiction is much worse than mine. Well, I know thousands of people who make my drug use look as wayward as a copper dancing with a woman in a bikini at Notting Hill Carnival. Chip Summers, who, if you met him now, you might think had spent his whole life playing dominoes in a library, was a right jailbird, smackhead, bank robbing social liability. Nowadays, he won't drink caffeine. In whatever area you are struggling, I can trot out some examples of a beaming do gooder who has turned their life around using this program. From sociably acceptable problems like smoking and crap relationships to stories of depravity that make train spotting seem aspirational. How many of y'all seen that movie, Train Spotting? Now, that is some real shit right there. The stories and the using are infinitely variable. The feelings behind them consist in the program that provides a way out reliably universal. There is good reason for you to have hope. Okay? So let's talk about this for a second. So step 2 is about hope, all right? How many of you guys, when you admitted that you had a problem with drugs and alcohol and that you were ready to get help, how many of you guys were afraid, afraid that you weren't going to be able to do it, afraid that you were going to fail? I know that I felt the same way because drugs did give me relief. That drugs were my solution for many, many years. They're what helped me to maintain my life, right? That's how I stayed sane. Because for some reason, as a young girl, I just felt like I was not the same as everybody else, I just felt like I wasn't good enough. I had low self-esteem, low self-worth, and I was just really insecure. And so when I found drugs and alcohol, it gave me like a sense of, hey, I fit in. I'm like everybody else. See, they're using too. And then I started getting validation from people. I lost weight. I started, getting all these compliments. And so it was like, it just kept on getting worse because I was getting positive reinforcement because of all the weight I had lost. So that just made me obsess even more and want to use meth and other stimulants even more. Okay, here we go. Not just cross your fingers, cosmic ordering type hope either. Reasoned and empirical hope, based on the experience of others who have followed the program that is outlined here. There will be action. There will be analysis. There will be work, sacrifice, and suffering. Change is hard. That's why we can't do it alone and why it is vital that we have a foundation of hope. You needn't immediately assume the idiotic and unfounded optimism of a radio breakfast DJ. You need only allow gentle hope to enter your heart. Exhale and allow hope and give yourself some time. This is a process of change that requires a good deal of self-compassion, which is neither stagnant nor permissive. We can just start by being a little kinder to ourselves and open to the possibility that life doesn't have to be bloody awful. The feeling of hopelessness is often the first thing revealed when the primary addictive behavior is challenged or arrested. The reason I was taking drugs was because I felt hopeless. It was the best idea I could come up with to tackle it. A power greater than ourselves is a phrase that gets unduly complicated. Like a lot of people with addiction issues, I pick away at concepts, ruminating and nervously reflecting. Are we alone in the universe? What are the forces that drive nature? What initiated this process? Did anything initiate this process? Is time even real? What the hell is consciousness anyway? It isn't helpful, necessary, or relevant to wander off into a epistemological labyrinth at this formative stage of recovery. So he's saying, keep it simple. Don't overcomplicate it, baby. It ain't got to be all that. In practical terms, power is the ability to affect change. On our own, we didn't have enough power to change, so we need to access to power that exceeds that. Hey, what's up, man? I messaged you because I saw your message about struggling. In step 1, we admitted we were powerless over our addiction. Therefore, our addiction therefore has power over us. It isn't a tie, a power stalemate. The addiction is the dominant power. My own addiction governed my choices for most of my life. How many of y'all, your addiction governed your choices? So for me, like, I couldn't go shopping without being high. I couldn't go to school without being high. I couldn't go to a family gathering without being high. I was talking about this the other day, and I was sharing about how drugs and alcohol were my bumper. Okay, so you know how you go to the fair and you ride the bumper cars when you're a little kid and you crash into people, but you bump right off of them. That's exactly what it's like when we're doing drugs. Okay, we're driving around in our cars of life, and while we're doing drugs, we have this like force field around us, this bumper, right, that we think is protecting us from things. We feel less anxiety. We feel like it's helping us, it's serving us, right? In all actuality, though, drugs are, slowly but surely, drugs are not serving us. But we don't realize that until things start, going negative. Because at the beginning, it's all fun and games, It's all fun and games at the beginning. Okay. But it didn't seem obvious on the 12th of December, 2002. It seemed hopeless. If you had seen me then, you wouldn't have said, obviously, this guy is going to be fine. He looks about 24 hours away from discovering a power greater than himself. You would have concluded correctly that I was a right mess. I had begun using all day. I had been to Bar Talk, a bar on the Chalk Farm Road, Camden, London, and picked up 2 of each from my mate Gritty. I had used in the toilet and had decided to make my rounds before I went into treatment at Focus, a 12-step treatment center for drug addicts and alcoholics. So he went in there, did some heroin, shot up. I was very much the kind of person who needed a thorough step 1. I was sick and I was frightened. I couldn't stop using. My life was falling apart and getting worse each day, and I couldn't see a way out. Now, whatever power I had then, it was insufficient to move me from using to not using. I came to believe that a power greater than myself could restore me to sanity, and it did. It moved me from there to here. This power compromises the following: I surrendered. I applied these steps to my thinking and acting. I sought the help of others. I helped others, and I developed a new perspective. Okay, you hear that? He surrendered. So I made a video the other day that said to succeed, you have to surrender. You have to let go of everything that's holding you back. You have to let go of all your old ideas about anything, right? If you're in active addiction and you're struggling and you've not been able to maintain any kind of sobriety, and you are like, I don't want to go to a meeting. I don't want to go ask for somebody to be my sponsor. Like, you really have to take that shit that's blocking you and move it out of the way. Because I'm telling you guys, giving it a try, it could really help you. Any program, that is. It doesn't just have to be 12 steps. Any program, right? Take what is blocking you and move it out of the way and surrender. So that way you can actually benefit from whatever you're trying to do. So it doesn't seem like it should work when you look at it on paper or on your device. Admit there is a problem. Have hope that your life can improve. So far, that is all that is being asked of you. Admit you have a problem and have hope that your life can improve. Being restored to sanity, we take to mean that within us there is a version of ourselves waiting to be realized, a better version. All the while I was rattling around on my picturesque excursion, causing damage inside and outside. There was another version of me waiting to be realized. We are, after all, an organic entity, like a tree with a code stored in our embryonic form that is set to grow to completion. A tree doesn't face the kind of obstacles a highly socialized mammal does. It might get chopped down or aggressively pruned or have some wire wrapped around it, but no one is going to say it's too fat or that it'll never amount to anything. But in your life, you've faced obstacles, inner and outer, that have prevented you from becoming the person you were meant to be or capable of being. And that is what we are going to recover. That's why we call this process recovery. We recover the you that you were meant to be. I use step 2 still. Whenever I'm in doubt, whenever I need hope, I come to believe that a power greater than myself can restore me to sanity. In this moment now, in the Lake District with my girlfriend, a new mom, momentarily blue and shattered, home from a trip to the end of Constant Shops, tearing with our daughter in her arms, I am presented with a chance to work my program. When there is a problem, my life could become unmanageable. If I, for example, listen, I've got to write, you look after yourself. I know that sounds mental, but it's the sort of thing I'm capable of saying. Those are the kind of selfish impulses I have. Instead, when that impulse comes, I quickly assess my role in the situation. Boyfriend, father, does that guy say I'm busy, or is that the more the kind of lyric that would be spat from the gob of the Camden Kids Circle 2002? So he's basically saying, like, no, as a boyfriend or a father, he's not too, he has to reevaluate. I'm not too busy. I'm a boyfriend. I'm a father. I'll be here for you. I accept there is a problem. My girlfriend needs time to herself. I come to believe that a power greater than myself can restore me to sanity. It does. The program, which is a power greater than me and my previous way of thinking, tells me in this moment, the only moment I have, to immediately surrender my old idea. In this case, the old idea is not, I must take heroin to be happy. It is, I am here to write. The idea is surrendered. The power is the program. The sanity is I recover my role as a good father and boyfriend. And I feel good. I feel good typing on this bed with quite cool, actually, lullabies playing on my phone. My daughter gurgling and cooing contentedly by my side. Now that is a miracle, with my girlfriend asleep. Can you see how this could very easily have become a different scenario? I can. Old Russell would not have been able to step outside of his selfishness. He would not have hoped that there could be another way, and he didn't really know that sanity existed. Perhaps you may feel, unless you're yourself a celebrity, that the plausibility of these claims is challenged by my position as a famous person in a celebrity worshipping world. Of course, you're all right. You're all right. Russell, you're a celebrity. You've a nice house and access to the best restaurants. May I tell you that fame, like all other shimmering sedatives I have sought, is limited in its effectiveness. When the baby starts crying, as she just did, or I wake up in the night anxious, or when I am hunted by my fear of death, failure, fame is of little use. No one is famous when they're on the toilet, except, I suppose, Elvis. To be clear, having been poor and not being poor, I am in no rush to sprint down to Kentish Town dole office bellowing, "It's me again! Can I have my pittance and desperation back?" I say only this: I am famous, and I know a lot of famous people, and they are among some of the most discontent and lost people I have ever met. Boo-hoo, yes, boo-hoo. But do acknowledge that nothing works as a salve for the pain that for simplicity's sake we shall call addiction. I bet from the swampy seat of your own self-pity you would assume that Prince was having a whale of a time, or that George Michael was loving it. I think it's safe to assume now that they were not. They had got to the other side of their dream and discovered, as with all illusions, there was nothing of substance there. Either an artist makes friends with the emptiness of success, fame, glamour, or, as we have seen time and time again, they check out in a drab splendor, candles at the end of a long driveway, vigils held, and questions asked. Here is a postcard from the other side. Fame, luxury items, and glamour are not real and cannot solve you. Whether it's a pair of shoes, a stream of orgies, a movie career, or global adultation, they are just all passing clouds of imaginary pleasure. When my girlfriend needs me to act like a grown-up, I don't think, "God, I'm famous." I refer to my program. It is much more spectacular and surprising that I become capable of being a good boyfriend than it is that I escaped a denizen of creepy crawly crack dens to become a famous comedian. When I became disillusioned with fame and money, it was no different from becoming disillusioned with drugs and alcohol. I tried first of all to get over it with gaudy philanthropy and combative proclamations, using my profile as an expression of dissatisfaction. Then slowly, as usual, I worked my program. That's how you get from being poor to being famous, to mouthing off about the system, to writing a book about how disconnected people can connect. By having a program. My tendency, my addiction will always reassert that's what a tendency is. Hey girl, what's up? We're reading through this book, and we're going to answer the questions at the end. So it's like step 2, Russell Brand's way. When you do step 4, you will see how the same patterns and beliefs have governed your life, returning you again and again to the same despair. Every time I am prized free of a painful habit, my morphine condition shifts like mercury into a new behavior. I can admit to you now that my work in Hollywood was driven by the belief that if I could get enough fame, I would be all right. Oh my God. I can, like, even though I'm not famous, I totally relate to what he's saying. Like, if I could just fit in more, if I could just have more friends, if I could just get a job that paid more money. That's like constantly what we're doing in active addictions. We're constantly trying to find the next best thing, right? That will help us, that will catapult us to the next side. But what actually we need to do is let go of our drugs of choice, because that's what's stunting us and keeping us held back. Hey man, what's up? Come on in, hang out with us. I couldn't get enough. There is not enough. I began commenting on all social issues in the truths, thinking I can be of use here. I can use my voice and humor to highlight hypocrisy and exploitation. But at some indiscernible point, I became excited by power. See, the power again. The power. The idea that something can make me feel good. the ego's love of self-centered power. I can be helping a group of working class activists retain their homes, saved from the clutches of corporate greed, and at some point I'll get turned on by how me and my ego can own it. My best efforts, my best intentions will be sucked into the quagmire if I am not vigilant. You too, you may think, yes, I am an addict. I will change the way I drink or eat or think or relate to sexual partners, but surely the craving will find a new expression, like a magnetic field ordering iron fillings. You can replace the fillings, but the pull stays the same. It is only by finding a more powerful magnetic pull that you can change the patterns completely. This can be the program itself. It can be a support program made up of like-minded people. It can be an orthodox or traditional idea of God. It can be nature. It can be a unified field of consciousness that supports all phenomenon. It frankly doesn't matter, and it is entirely for you to choose, as long as it is loving, caring, and more powerful than you. So what he's saying is that anything can be the power greater than yourself, right? Like he said, nature, a group of people. What else do you say? Man, I missed it. Like a magnetic field, beep, bop, boop. Nature. I just read that. Anyways, it can be anything. Nature, the world, Allah, Buddha, whatever, right? Just as long as it's loving, caring, and more powerful than you. Bam! That's it. Now we get to answer the questions. Okay, so what do you guys think about the reading? Do you guys enjoy this? Is it something that you want me to continue doing? Because now I want you to get your pen and your piece of paper out, and this is our step 2 exercise, okay? So let me read again. Okay, step 2 is we came to believe that a power greater than ourselves could restore us to sanity. Okay? Step 2 exercise. Could you not be fucked? Because we're fucked when we're in active addiction. So now we're trying to decide if we could not be fucked. Do I believe that I need to change? Do I believe that I need to change? So I am writing that I am relating this all to my food addiction. Do I need to change? Yes, my eating has become unmanageable and manageable. Okay. Do I accept that change means I must think, feel, and act differently? Do we accept that change means that we have to change everything? Okay? It doesn't just mean one thing. Everything in our life has to change. Do we accept that? Yes. Do I know people who have made comparable changes that seem quite radical? Yeah, I know lots of people that have made like really drastic changes in their life. Is this change likely to be easy and driven by the ideas I already have, techniques I already use, and support systems that I already have access to? Is this change likely to be easy and driven? No. So for me, changing everything about my eating habits is like hard for me, because for the longest time, and this is probably how it's going to be for you guys too, who are in active addiction or struggling. It's hard to implement change, right? Because we have been using for so many years, and it becomes it becomes a habit, a working part of our mind. Hey, thanks, girl. Love that. It literally becomes a working part of our mind. Like, it's like our everyday. Okay, let me use it. It's like autopilot. After you've been doing something for so many years, it becomes like you're on autopilot. Like you don't know how not to do it. That's how it was with my binge eating disorder. I didn't know how not to wake up in the middle of the night and go down to the refrigerator and binge. I had to start actively realizing I'm waking up. It's the middle of the night. I'm not going down to the refrigerator. I'm not even going to walk down the stairs, because I know if I walk down the stairs, then I'm going to go to the fridge. Crazy, huh? Okay. What is my conception of a power greater than me? Is it nature? Is it consciousness beyond the individual? Is it the power of people coming together in the pursuit of a global goal? Describe your personal understanding of a power greater than myself. What is your understanding of a power greater than you guys? I'm going to write my understanding, and you guys can write yours, okay? And like you said, it can be anything as long as it is loving, caring, accepting, and it's stronger than you. It's a power greater than you, okay? Do I have doubt and prejudice about spirituality and the power of new perspective to solve my problem? What are those doubts and prejudice? Okay, do we have doubts? So when I first got sober, I had a lot of doubts. Do you want to know why? Because, sorry y'all, I'm sweating. Because I had no connection with a power that was greater than me, which is God to me. I had totally turned my back on God. I was angry at God because I felt that he had turned his back on me. But in all actuality, it was me. I abandoned him, and he had been there the whole time. That's why I'm still alive. And that's why my son's okay, because God was with me the whole time. The whole time. And I was so disconnected from God, my higher power, for so many years. I believed that I was being punished in some way, that this was all being done to me. And in all actuality, I was doing all this to myself, you know? It was from the actions and my choices that I made why I was in the problems that I was having, and I just couldn't see it that way, you know? I blamed everybody but taking responsibility for myself, you know? Okay, sorry about that, y'all. Mantra: limitless consciousness, source of all light and love. Please lay aside for me doubt and prejudice and give me willingness to believe that you can solve this problem too, the way you have solved other problems. Okay. What is my conception of a personal higher power? Describe it here. Okay, I'm going to describe it. It says, I feel that when I meditate, I connect to a creative and loving energy that is present in all life. They say all energy that has ever been is still here now and will always be here. That means there is a totality and I am part of it. When I have an opinion of suffering, it is only that, an opinion. I do not and cannot understand the full concepts of events that occur in an infinite and eternal universe. It is as if within my infinite lifetime I glimpsed a second of a 3-hour movie and try to understand the entire plot. All I must do is engage with this idea. I will become open to the idea that my conceptions, beliefs, and experiences are limited. I will become open to new beliefs and new possibilities. I will become open to that idea that I can live a better life, more loving and useful life, even if I don't fully understand how I will do it or what it will be like. Can I now accept there is a power greater than me at work in the cosmos? I don't have to ally with it yet. All I have to do is accept that my thoughts and I are not the apex of human experience. Of course I can. It's obvious. In nature and in human affairs, it is obvious there are more powerful forces than me. Amen. Do I know people who have changed their lives and live accordingly to spiritual principles, who are connected, happy, and real? Oh, yeah. I know a lot of people that work a program of recovery. And that's what I was telling you guys earlier. A lot of people here on TikTok, just because they're sober does not mean that they're working a program of recovery. A lot of people here on TikTok are just not taking drugs. But everything else is just the same as it was when they were on drugs. They're miserable. They want to attack you. They want to bring you down. They want to hurt and harm you, right? Did you guys see my friend Ryan Riggs' video? Ryan Riggs, somebody took a screenshot of Ryan's video where he was talking about microdosing. And they sent it to his boss trying to get him fired from his peer support job. That is the kind of people that we're dealing with here on TikTok. People that are just constantly trying to hurt and harm others because of their own miserableness. Crazy to me. Okay. Is this how I would like to be? Yeah, the way I want to be is I want to be somebody that people can come to and that they feel comfortable to talk to. Hey, Ashley, that they feel comfortable to talk to and trust and come to me. I want people to know that, when they think of Nicole, I want them to think of, oh my gosh, she's so nice. I know she's always been so kind to me. I want them to have good things to say about me. Not like they used to when I was in active addiction. The things they said about me in active addiction was, that girl is fucked up. She is fucked up. She's a liability. Don't have her over your house. She'll call the police. I'm doing good, girl. Do I know people who have engaged with a new power and use these techniques to induce revolutionary change in their way of living? Well, yeah. Okay, here we go. Here's a good question. Do I lack purpose and drive? Do I lack purpose and drive? So this is something that I lacked for many, many years. And when I got sober and started working the steps, and then I started sharing my story, that is when I found purpose, when I started sharing my story and being of service to other people. And that's what really changed my whole life, is being able to help other people. Okay, here's a mantra that I'm going to read us. Divine power, supreme truth, love within and without, guide me to a new way of being. Help me to put aside all previous thoughts and prejudice, that I may be open to a new way. I ask the creative power deep within to guide me towards the person I was always meant to be, to seek out relationships and experiences that will move me closer to this truth. Amen. So I really wanted to do those that step work with you guys, and that is Russell Brand's book. Okay, so I have done the Alcoholics Anonymous steps on my YouTube channel, but I wanted to do from that book because it breaks it down and it's more understandable when I'm reading it to people. Like the way he described at the beginning of when he stopped using drugs, about how hopeless he felt and how he felt like he would not be able to succeed. I know we've all felt like that. You know what I mean? And there's many times where I thought that I would never make it to where I am today. When I tell you guys, in July, when I celebrated, or is this July, when I celebrated my 7 years a couple of weeks ago, I was dumbfounded because I cannot believe that I made it 7 years. I cannot believe that it's been 7 years, To me, that is just a huge milestone. I don't know what it is about the number 7. It's like a number that I've always had in my life. My ADC number was 754077. Like I've always had 7s show up in my life. So that number is really important to me. And I feel like really overwhelmed that I was able to make it. Thank you. Thank you. You know what I'm saying? And you might relate to like, yeah, it's your 5th year, and that is what makes you feel, it's just like a feeling where I just feel like, damn, dude, especially this year, you guys, like it really is a miracle that I was able to maintain my sobriety with all the stuff that has been happening to me throughout the last year, all the things that people have been trying to hurt and harm me and my family with. Like, it's been crazy since I joined TikTok in 2020. And I have learned so much about people and how to handle things in my life. You know what I'm saying? It's all been a learning experience the last couple of years, for real. Because before I came to TikTok, I was like in a little bubble of my YouTube family. It was just my YouTube family. We all knew each other and I was protected, and then I came here and I've opened myself up to so many more people, and it has been really, really hard because a lot of people, they misunderstand me. They think that I'm, mean or something. I don't know why. I guess because I have like a strong voice and stuff, but it's been difficult for me this last year. And so I'm just proud of myself for making it. I really, really am proud of myself. It's important to me. Sobriety is important to me today. Like, I don't want to get high anymore. I don't want to ruin my son's life. I don't want to lose custody of my child. And that's what would happen if I continued using drugs. And so, bottom line, my son saved my life. If it wasn't for Nathaniel being born, I don't know if I would even be here today. You know, he saved my life. He is the reason why I got sober. He is the reason why I'm sober today. Of course, I want to be sober now, but when I first got sober, I didn't want to be sober. I was just doing it because I had to, you know? But then what happened is, over about the next year's time when I first got sober and I got my son back, then I started wanting to be sober. And then I started seeing other people that were sober and they were successful and they were doing things to help people. And I was like, wow, I want to do that too. You know what I mean? I want to help other people too. I want to help change other people's lives too. And so that made me inspired, you know? And then through working with other people and helping other people, that helped me find purpose in my life. Because for a long time, when I was using drugs and alcohol, my only purpose in life was to get drugs, right? Everything in my life was centered around getting and staying high as fuck, right? And when I wasn't high as fuck, I was full of shame and guilt, and I hated myself. It wasn't until I was able to get all of that shit out of my system that I was actually able to be like, you know what? I'm better than this. Why have I been doing this to myself all my life? Why have I been fucking drugging myself up? Like, I'm fun without drugs. I'm smart without drugs. I'm a hard worker without drugs. But I always thought that they were something that made me better. You know, okay, so what? I'm not skinny. Big deal. You know what I'm saying? I'd rather be chunky than be fucking strung out on methamphetamine, crack cocaine. You know what I mean? That was the only thing that really, really kept me going back to drugs, was the fact that I was insecure about my weight. Okay? Aw, thanks, Unicorn Milkshaker. Thank you, baby. That really, really, really held me back for a long time because I was so insecure. I felt like I needed to be accepted by other people. I felt like if they didn't think I was beautiful, then I wasn't beautiful. And that's a fucking awful way to live. Do you know what it's like to live for validation from others constantly? Seeking for them to tell you that you're okay. And until they tell you okay, you're not okay. You're waiting for them to tell you that you're okay. I remember when I started dating my first boyfriend, right? And I had started doing methamphetamine because he had talked about my weight, right? He had said, you know, you could lose more weight. You would be so much prettier if you did. So I started using meth all the time. I remember distinctively laying on his bed naked, and I was high on meth. And my spine was sticking out from my back. And I remember him rubbing my back and saying, 5 more pounds and you'll be perfect. And I mean, when I heard him say that, I thought, I'm never going to make him happy. He's never going to like the way I look. This is not where I need to be. This is not the person that I thought I need to be with, you know? Now that I'm in a healthy relationship, thank you, girl, I appreciate you. Now that I'm in a healthy relationship, right, and I'm with a man who loves me no matter what my size is, no matter if I'm sick, if I'm well, if I'm grumpy, if I'm mean. You know, me and Neil, we have our disagreements. The other day, we had our first disagreement in a long time. I was on a live stream. He came in, and I had got some perfume. It was in the mail, and I went to open it, and he had unscrewed it, so all the perfume spilled out of the bottle. And I was pissed. So I said, you spilled my fucking perfume. And he's like, you don't have to be a cunt about it. And we're yelling at each other about spilled perfume, you know? And we have not had a disagreement or an argument like that in years. Like, I was honestly so upset. After we got done yelling at each other, I was like, you don't ever yell at me like that. I was crying, you know, because I felt so bad for yelling at him, you know. But I was upset because he spilled my motherfucking perfume. Yeah. You know what I mean? But it was just like a little back and forth spat, like where I yelled at him, he yelled at me. Nothing serious or anything like that. But, you know, Back in the day, if I had a little disagreement like that, I would have ran off and got high. I would have went and that's an excuse to use, and I would have been, going out and hiding out and staying gone from the house for like a week, because that's what I did when I was in active addiction. When I was in active addiction and my husband and I would not be getting along, I would disappear. I would leave the house. I would go over to my friend's house and stay there for like a week, and that's not how it is now. Now I'm an adult. Now I can sit and we can talk things out, so after he cooled down and I cooled down, he said, "I'm sorry. I love you." And I said, "I'm sorry too. I shouldn't have yelled at you about some damn perfume." And then it was all better, But like I said, if I was in active addiction, I would have ran away from any kind of argument. And now that I'm sober and I'm actually working on myself, instead of running away from situations, I am ready to handle the situation. Even here on TikTok, I tell people all the time, if something I say makes you upset, if you think I'm upset with you or anything that happens, message me. I want to work it out. I want to talk about it. I don't want to have any unnecessary drama or chaos. That's not how my life is today. Today, I want to have peace of mind. I want to be happy. I want to know that when you leave my live stream, that I helped you in some way, that your life has been improved by my live stream, not worse because of me, and if I can do something that I need to change to make something better, then I'm open to criticism from people to change those things, And I didn't used to be like that. I used to would have gotten offended if somebody told me, "Hey, Nicole, like I saw this video you made and it wasn't right," or "you triggered me," or something like that, right? I used to would have gotten upset about it. But now, I really try to take what people say into consideration. Like today, I put up a video about a girl who dismembered a guy's body high on meth. It was crazy. And I put trigger warning in the bottom right-hand corner of the video in red so you could see it. And a girl commented and she said, "How about a trigger warning?" And I was like, I thought I did so good because I had it on there. I was like, I put it on there. Like, I was like, what the hell? I was so proud of myself because I put it on there. And then I was like, what? So I guess I need to say it from now on and put it on there, Oh, Gracie. Hey, girl, what's up? I didn't see you. There's no use in crying over spilled perfume. Is that really a song? And you're not old, girl. Hush up. Oh, thanks a lot. I appreciate it. Y'all are funny. I just try to do the right thing and try to help wherever I can. Like, I'm not perfect by any means, but here on TikTok, I want to make a positive influence on people's lives. Like I said, I don't want to hurt anyone. Like, that is not my goal. And other people in recovery, that's how it should be everybody's goal. All of us should be focused on helping improve each other's lives, making each other's lives better, not causing harm in each other's lives, So I'm always here to support you guys. And if you need to talk about anything, you can always message me. Yeah, Nate, what's up? Are you done?
Open.
Why?
Because I accidentally.
Did it die?
No, but I closed it because I was seeing if OJ was on.
Okay.
It was on. So I'm going to play with him while.
Here, Bubby. Nate got a game on my damn computer, so now I don't get to. They have it. They saw it on my account. Now I don't get to have my computer at all, you guys, because Nate's on it all day long. But anyway, I'm gonna get off here, y'all. Hobbies? Not really. My son is my hobby. I don't know. I really just like. Oh yeah, I guess you could call. I really enjoy making content on social media. And so I have a YouTube channel. I like doing makeup. My husband's helping me out. I like doing makeup. I like doing my social media content. I really enjoy helping people. That's part of my lifestyle now. I like being able to connect with people. When I was younger, I used to dance and I loved dancing. As I've gotten older, I got insecure, and so I stopped dancing. What I should do is I should start dancing again here on TikTok, just learning some of the dances and then posting videos, because that will help me with my weight loss journey. But I get insecure about it sometimes, you know what I mean? Hey, Valerie, what's up, girl? Because I was a really good dancer. I really was a good dancer. And I've done a couple on here and made videos, and people really liked them. But I'm telling you guys, like, lately here, I am on this true crime kick, and I'm going to be finding so many cases to share with you guys that are of people who committed crimes while under the influence. And so my series is called High Life Crimes, and I've already posted 2 videos this week about them. But I'm going to be posting a lot more. Also, I posted that one you tagged me in. So this guy, y'all, he had an attack squirrel. He was feeding his squirrel meth, and that made the squirrel aggressive. And so these cops came and raided his house, and that squirrel probably jumped off and was like, do you remember that? Me and my husband, when we first met each other, he was staying the night at my house one night.
Yeah,
and there was an attack squirrel outside of our apartment.
I think it's because it had babies in the thing. It was looking for something. I don't know if it had rabies or what the fuck.
It was literally jumping at the screen door, like trying to come in after us. Like it was squealing and mad. It was crazy. But this guy had a squirrel that he was feeding meth to. And so the cops went in there, and he also got charged with possession of an illegal wildlife and possession of guns by a felon. Yeah, these true crime things are really, really interesting, you guys. Now, I watched the one I told you guys about Taylor today. I watched a video about it, and then I went and researched, like, if she had gotten sentenced yet. And right now, they have been doing competency hearings because she's claiming insanity. When I was reading it and I watched the video about her chopping up her boyfriend and, playing with his dead body and all that, my mouth literally dropped. And I'm a freaky bitch. I've done some freaky shit during my meth crazed sex life, okay? I used to do all kinds of wild stuff when I was high on meth. But I would never strangle my husband until he died and then play with his ding-a-ling while he was dead. That's like, hello! I mean, that's some crazy shit. Yeah, chop him up to pieces, chop his head off, take his ding-a-ling and put it in a bucket with his head, and then take his leg and his foot and run out the door. Like, what the fuck? Ooh, I will. That sounds interesting. And if you guys find any cases that you find that you want me to cover that are like cases that people committed while under the influence of drugs, send them to me and I will cover them. Okay. So it's going to be a little new series here on my TikTok account. Also, another new series that I'm doing is the drug memes, the memes. Okay. So like, I'm all about like dark humor and stuff like that. And I found this spot where I found all these really funny ass memes. So probably like once or twice a week, I will drop a new video with different funny memes on it. And then I need one more thing. I want to do one more series, but I want it to be like, I don't know, like something about recovery. Maybe like, I don't know what I should do. I do the secrets keep you sick. I do recovery tips. I do drug addicts truths, like truths that people don't usually talk about. I do crimes that say, Nate, what are you yelling about? So, wow, that's crazy. Hey, what's up, Moore? I saw your message the other day, or I saw you say that you were struggling with alcohol. Are you okay? I hope you're okay. Message me. So I'm going to get off here, you guys, and download this video so I can upload it on my YouTube channel because I told everybody I would. But I'll see you guys tomorrow night. I'll be on tomorrow night too at 7 as usual. Okay? All right, you guys. I think I'm going to get Morgan to come on tomorrow night and tell her story. I'm going to message her right now. She actually got off of tianeptine, Zaza, and she has a video on her channel where she went through withdrawal and everything, and it was amazing. So I'm going to get her to come tell her story tomorrow night. Okay? All right. Good night, y'all.